Welcome to Bruce Hurwitz Presents Meet the Experts. I'm your host, Bruce Hurwitz of Hurwitz Strategic Staffing. I hope you consider us for all your staffing, career counseling, and professional writing needs. Momentarily, I will be joined by Steve Kent for a discussion on retirement planning. Meet the Experts is sponsored by P&K CPAs. P&K is a full-service accounting firm. They provide accounting and consulting services to businesses ranging from startups to small and mid-cap companies to nonprofits, as well as high net worth individuals. Contact them today for a free consultation at info@pk-cpas.com or call them at 973-882-8810. They will be happy to be of service. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bruce. Pleasure to be here.
It is my pleasure. Please take a moment or two and introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hi, thank you. So my name is Steve Kent. I have my own financial services practice, Steve Kent Financial Services, for the last couple of years. My background, I spent 32 years in corporate IT. I then left for personal reasons, opened my own business, closed that one, opened up my second. So I'm a serial entrepreneur and I love to help people.
Very good. And you answered my first question without knowing it, because I'm always curious when someone in financial services can come on the show, because usually they can't get permission from their compliance department. And you're able to do it because you're your compliance department.
Well, I am my own compliance. Well, not really, but yes, I do. But I stay within the lines, so that gets me a certain way through. But it's also the compliance is there from my perspective because they don't want people going rogue. They don't want you giving recommendations, doing all kinds of things that you're not supposed to do. So I completely get the compliance piece, but I stay within the lines, so all is good.
And I won't ask you what stock should you invest in.
I will not answer that. So we're good. Okay.
But my favorite compliance story is at a networking event. I met a compliance officer and I invited him to come on the show to talk about compliance. He wouldn't be making any financial recommendations. He would, just talk about, explain the importance of compliance. He couldn't get permission from his compliance department, which I thought was just hysterical. But our topic is not compliance, it's financial planning.
Fair enough.
I can't think of anything that includes so many unknowns as financial planning, because it depends on so many different variables. So how can you plan for the unknown?
It's a good question. So the way to plan starts with finding out from a individual, family, small business owner, where are they today financially? What are their goals and dreams, their time frames, their tolerance for risk, their tolerance to pay taxes? Once you get a full picture of what they are looking for, then I go out to the myriad of companies that I work with looking for multiple recommendations that will solve or help them meet their goals and dreams. Now, there is no perfect plan out there at all. You're 100% correct. But there are certain vehicles out there that do adjust for upturns and downturns in the market, that do adjust for tax law changes. So it's not I put it in something today and I walk away and pray it comes out later. Not really a recipe for success. But if you can adjust along the way, and that's what we do, then you have a greater potential of getting the person where they want to. And that's what we do.
As I understand the stock market, because of unpleasantness in the past, let's say, The stock market, which I've only seen once and was very disappointed. I expected
Okay.
it to be a lot bigger.
Okay.
In the stock exchange, anybody who knows me knows I have no sense of direction. So of course I got onto the wrong elevator,
Mm-hmm.
got down to the ground floor. I see guards, I see a turnstile,
Mm.
and I looked at the guard and said, I'm in the wrong place. And I said, what is that? And he said, this is the stock exchange. May I take a look inside? And he goes, yeah. And I couldn't enter, but I could take a look
Mm.
inside.
Mm-hmm.
So small
Yes.
and it's clean. Because I mean, I knew in the back of my mind that they didn't use paper anymore, but I was
Well,
surprised how small it was. And he
mm-hmm.
said, first off, everybody reacts the same way. I shouldn't feel bad. And secondly, now that everything is electronic,
Right.
there's no need for as much room because you don't have people screaming.
Correct. Correct.
Which leads me to my question. There's an algorithm, as I understand it,
Mm-hmm.
that will automatically shut down the stock exchange if a stock does something crazy.
Correct.
Either goes way up or way down,
Mm-hmm.
everything stops to make sure that,
Right.
for lack of a better word, everything is kosher.
Mm-hmm.
Is there such an algorithm that an individual can have where if your investments drop more than 10%, or if stocks that you were thinking about getting start to rise by a certain amount, or precious metals, gold, silver,
Mm-hmm.
what's the other one?
Crypto.
I almost said plutonium, but if you're investing in plutonium, we have a totally different problem.
Yep. Yep.
Is there an app for that? Is there now an app that you can use to make investing, financial planning more secure, safer?
Yes and no. Yes, there are apps out there, and there are things that individuals can do. For example, to say, I own stock X. If it goes down more than 5%, 10%, sell it. Or if it goes up more than 5, 10%, and I want to lock in my gains, sell it. So there are apps that will do that, that will help protect you as an individual. If you trade through a broker, they will do that for you. They're called stop losses, stop gains. So you can do that to protect yourself. However, what an app will not do, and I know AI is great, but what an app will not do is it will not let you know if you don't set those parameters. It will not let you know if the market or your stock goes up or down. It will not notify you if your goals change, your risk tolerance changes. So while apps may be good on the surface, you really do need to work with someone, anyone, to help and talk to you on a periodic basis to see if your needs and goals change.
I can imagine that there are times when a financial advisor is talking to a client who said, "Oh, by the way, I got married and had when we had twins,"
Hmm.
and the advisor didn't know anything about it,
Correct.
and says, "Well, now we gotta make some changes."
Hmm. But this is where the person that an individual deals with needs to talk to their clients on a regular basis. Because if you're in that example you just gave, oh, by the way, Bruce calls up his advisor and says, oh, I got married and had twins. Well, the last time I checked, it takes 9 months to have a baby, give or take. Okay. So if that advisor has not spoken to Bruce in 9 months, shame on the advisor. That should have been done much sooner so that that advisor would have known that Bruce or whoever Bruce is with is having the twins. They could have started putting something in place sooner. So again, it comes down to how often does that advisor talk to their client?
Yeah. Now, this goes back to planning ahead, having water.
Correct. Good suggestion early on. Thank you for that.
No problem. Of course, I suggested to you, and I'm the one who's coughing, and you're not.
Of course. Okay.
It goes like that. When the stock goes up 10%, goes down 10%, and the order is automatically given to sell,
Mm-hmm.
well, you're selling and you're getting cash.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, what do you do with the cash?
So there's a dual answer to that. If you have an advisor or somebody who's helping you, they could suggest and have that conversation. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to put it into cash, keep it, turn it into something else? Again, what do you think about the market, taxes, and all those things? If a person is a single individual who is doing that, then it's up to them what they want to do. But they may not be aware of all the tax implications. Do you keep it in cash and pay the tax? Do you roll it into something else? There's all kinds of tax implications that, again, most individuals don't know, and most apps are not set up to do.
You're the financial planner. The person may have a stockbroker. Or are you able to purchase stocks, commodities, what have you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Okay. So you have you as a financial planner, you have a stockbroker,
Mm-hmm.
you have an accountant.
Right.
Any other members of the team?
A CPA is absolutely necessary. And in addition to a CPA, a tax specialist, because there are many extremely smart, very capable CPAs out there. But because they're so overwhelmed with the IRS, they may not understand and just have the sheer time to dig into all those other tax laws where a pure tax accountant will know those things. So that's why they should be part of the team.
So when you have a team of 4 or 5 individuals,
Mm-hmm.
the clients, as you've already stated, has to take the initiative.
Correct.
But who's the team leader? Who's the one who's going to call up to make sure the person hasn't gotten married, doesn't have a child, doesn't have a child who's about to go into college, what have you?
Right.
Who's,
I
God
I
forbid
think
that their house burned down.
I think it's the individual, to me, should reach out to the planner. Hey, my partner is pregnant, buying a new house, we're moving to a different state. But the planner, to me, has the responsibility of reaching out again frequently. And if there is a life-changing event or a financially changing event, they should gather the troops and have joint discussions and then provide the individual with options and let the individual make the decision.
I want to change direction just slightly. When I hear Bitcoin, I hear criminality. I don't want to have anything to do with Bitcoin.
Me too.
Well, you answered my question. I mean,
Oh, sorry. Okay.
is Bitcoin Because I know that it's now legal,
Correct.
but is it I want to ask this in a way that you can answer it. Is it an option on par with the more classic investments?
I can give you my opinion only.
I understand.
And my opinion is crypto, while it is now legal, it is not yet regulated enough. Again, my opinion is not regulated enough. Therefore, it's the Wild West. And what a lot of people don't realize, even though it's now law, the gains that you make are taxable. And that could be substantial amounts of money. So to me, until it becomes more regulated, and yes, you could then say, okay, it's another thing the government has their hands in. I get that too. But until, in my mind, it becomes more regulated, I personally would not recommend it to any of my clients. What they do is up to them, but I would not recommend it.
Now, again, not asking for specifics because I know you
Mhm.
can't give them, but 401ks, what type of retirement plans provide the most security, the best control for an investor, be the individual a solopreneur or an employee at a company?
So I'm going to take that in a couple of different directions.
Please.
One scenario is an employee who has left their job and has gone to a different one, or has just left their job and retired, or whatever the reason. Most of those employees, when they leave, they take a cardboard box, they pack up their personal belongings, and they walk out the door. But most of them leave their old 401k where it was. By doing that, the 401k is no longer managed and the fees go up. So the person has left it there and over time will likely lose money based on the market, based on the extra fees and whatever else. My suggestion for that group of people is to roll that money with no cost and no tax implications into an annuity. For those, second scenario says people, either employees or small business business owners who have money in a 401k, look at, if they're happy, great, stay there. But also understand they have the risk to the market going up and down. But if they're not happy or they want to move something into something safer, they can do what's called an in-service. So if their plan allows them to, they can take a portion of their existing 401k and move it into something else. Again, my choice is annuities. And the reason I'm saying annuities is they will guarantee a stream of income for life where a 401k will not.
Now, my knowledge of annuities comes from when I was a fundraiser for a number of nonprofits. And there were two types of annuities, CRATs and CRUTs. Charitable Remainder Unit Trust and Charitable Remainder Annuity Trust. The unit trust was a percentage, well, you know. Why don't you explain it? Why should I?
So there's, going a little bit higher, there's two types of trusts. There's the traditional and the modern. The traditional type of annuity said, for example, I put $100,000 into an annuity, and whatever it grows to, and then you get a certain amount of money every month for life. If I start to take money out every month, and God forbid I pass away before my 100,000 is paid out, the company took the balance. The new type of annuity says, same example, you put in 100,000, you start taking out, you pass away, the balance goes back to the beneficiaries, not to the company. So there's never any money lost. That's the
like a lead trust.
I'm not familiar with the terminology that
A charitable lead trust is when you take a business, let's say,
okay.
and you donate it to a charity
Okay.
with the proviso that in X number of years,
Mhm.
say 10 years, the charity will return ownership to you.
Okay.
In the meantime, you run it
Mhm.
for the charity, and the charity gets all the profits.
Okay.
When the period is over with, it reverts to you,
Mhm.
or rather to your beneficiaries,
Okay.
and therefore it's not part of your, if you're still alive, it's not part of your estate. So there are no estate taxes on
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And if you've passed away, it's not an inheritance because
Mhm.
the beneficiaries aren't getting it from you, they're getting it from the charity.
Right.
I just want to make sure I word the question in such a way.
Okay.
The beauty of the annuities for
Mhm.
charities was that in my day, I don't know if the percentages have changed. The minimum that you could get back would be 5%. So if it was an annuity, if it was a unit trust, you would get 5% of the value of the trust.
Okay.
If it was an annuity trust, you would get 5% of what was donated. So $100,000 every year, you get $5,000.
Mhm.
$100,000, it's now gone up 20%, or make it 10%, so the math is easy,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
You'd get $5,500
Okay.
guaranteed. But the trouble with the unit trust is if it goes down,
Mhm.
you're out of business. So I would never advise an older person who required guaranteed income to do anything other than the annuity trust, because
So
trust was iffy.
so again, let's go back to the traditional and the modern.
Okay.
The modern annuity says you put in $100,000, it will never go down. There are certain changes to the annuities that have what they call market correction protection. They go up when the market goes up, not necessarily your monthly payment, but that value that you're drawing from goes up when the market goes up and goes flat when the market goes down. So you never lose. So that's why it can stay consistent forever.
There was a time I never do this, but in this case I did because I just didn't like this guy. There was a fundraiser in a diner, shouldn't have been in a diner, talking
Okay.
to a donor, an elderly woman,
Mm,
about getting a trust. And there was inappropriate conversation in public, and he was forcing her to sign.
the-
Then he got up, excused himself, went to the bathroom, and I turned around and I introduced myself and I said, "You sign nothing.
Right.
Tell him you will show the papers to your attorney, to your accountant,
Mhm.
and then decide."
Yep. Yep.
Because in many cases, I remember I had a 75-year-old donor. She could have gotten 12.5% interest.
Mhm.
Her accountant told her to take 5% because the tax deduction was more valuable. So has that changed with modern annuities?
So let's back up one sec. Well, there's a time and a place for every conversation. And you're right, the diner was not the time or the place. Okay, that right off the bat. There are also very strict restrictions as far as who can invest, minimum age, maximum age. So that also will keep some people honest. Then you have that every annuity transaction that we would like to do goes through our compliance department before the person is even presented the papers to sign. So not only do we have to do the right thing, but our compliance department keeps us in line. And if we give too many of those questionable deals or potential deals, they could suspend my license. So it keeps me and again, I am 100% in favor of that because again, you're dealing with the public and their money. I'm not sure if I answered your question or not.
Okay. Um, you seem to have had a problem when I said it's possible that tax savings are
Okay.
more valuable than the interest you're actually going to earn.
That depends on the individual person.
Yeah.
If they're in a very high tax bracket, they may want, again, assuming they can live on less, they may want to take less. If they need more, take more, but again, you're going to pay the taxes. Depends on where they are. There's no right or wrong answer. It depends on the individual person's situation.
I just thought you had a philosophical issue with the tax deduction.
Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. I have no feels. I just quite frankly, I got off on my tangent and I forgot your question. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. It
But no, no, I have no issues with it.
constantly. Now, final question, and I'm going
Sure.
to share your contact information. Bear with me 2 seconds.
Sure.
Is there anything that I have not asked you that you wish I had asked you? And if I had asked you, what would you have said?
So I think one of the questions we focused a lot on retirement, but there are a few other things that I can offer potential families.
Yes.
Um, One is um, life insurance, which is used as an asset to protect yourself. One is long-term care, and which is, as the population ages, that's critical because if you have an instance of needing long-term care, it could wipe you out. So that's something that we offer. And there are different types of that based on an individual's needs. And then I also offer what I call a life plan, which is an offshoot of a college savings plan, because our program is different than what's normally known by the public and has better tax advantages and growth potential. And again, I'm purposely being vague because I don't want to, this is not a sales pitch. This is, but again, it's the bigger picture. It's the comprehensive. It's not just retirement.
And anyone can reach out to you at either of these emails.
Yes. And I will also tell you that every conversation is confidential and complimentary. Every conversation. So then you can ask the question of, how do I get paid? Okay. And that answer is, if after all our conversations and all my recommendations, you like what I do, the companies that I place the business with, all A-rated or better, they compensate me. There's never a penny out of a person's pocket.
Understood. Steve, thank you very much. You've been clear and concise in your answers. And I appreciate it, and I'm sure that our viewers do as well.
Great. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate your time and the opportunity.
My pleasure.
Have a great day. Thank you.
I'm Bruce Hurwitz. Thank you for watching. And as always, please stay focused on success.